Today's recipe, Caesar salad. Now let me give you some context. A Caesar salad is so American, it is so loved by America that my chef instructor used to tell me that if I ever open a restaurant in North America and I don't keep Caesar salad, there will definitely be a riot. Now a Caesar salad is really very simple. It is just lettuce, croutons, parmesan cheese and some beautiful Caesar salad dressing. Now it's a very simple recipe, and where is the scope for a twist? So the twist is going to come in the croutons. I'm going to make the croutons with a bread called a khara bread. It's really famous in Bangalore. It's available in all those little Iyengar bakeries. They are spicy, they're fragrant, they're very herby in nature. And I'm not going to make it with the regular bread making method. I'm going to make an Irish soda bread. A khara Irish soda bread. Now if you're one of those who loves bread, who likes making it but hates the ordeal around kneading it for 20 minutes, resting it, shaping it and then baking it, this is the recipe for you. Let's get started. Now because Caesar salad literally takes a minute to come together, I'm going to start with the more fancy side of the story. I'm going to start with our croutons, for which we need to make an Irish soda bread. A khara Irish soda bread. Now because this is khara, we're going to start with the masala. And this is going to be very basic. You want to sweat a small onion in a couple of tablespoons of ghee. Now again, this is khara, so we're going to add some khara chilies. You can add as many as you like, but I'm going to stick to 2. And along with this, I'm going to add a sufficient amount of garlic. Now I could have sliced all of this, but I want a more even spread, and also I own a mortar and pestle. You know the onions are sweated enough when they turn translucent, which they haven't. So I'm going to stir them around, and because I lack the required patience, I'm going to add a catalyst, salt, about half a teaspoon. Now remember, we wanted to season these onions anyway. Once they've turned translucent, you want to go in with some caraway seeds. These caraway seeds are going to add a fantastic fruity aroma. So I'm going to go in with 1 teaspoon and also half a teaspoon of fennel seeds. Now these seeds, they could burn real quick, which is why you want to follow up almost immediately with the chili garlic mixture. And you want to sweat this mixture for about a minute. You want these chilies to lose that raw edge. In about a minute and a half, you want to take this mixture off the heat and our very basic masala is done. Now here I have some herbs. I have a handful of dill and a handful of coriander, which you want to chop as fine as possible. After which, we will make our really easy dough. Here I have 3 cups of all-purpose flour. This flour needs to be seasoned, and I'm going to go in with 1 teaspoon of salt. Along with this, you want to add a tablespoon of baking powder and a teaspoon of baking soda. Give this a rough mix and our dry ingredients are ready. For the wet ingredients, you want to break an egg into a bowl, into which you want to add 2 cups of yogurt. Now you want to beat this into a smooth mixture. The yogurt in here is going to react with our baking soda and give us aeration, and the egg is going to give structure to this bread. Now you could give it a mix, but I reckon you don't. You want to add the wet to the dry ingredients and give it a mix. Now here's the tricky part, you cannot over mix. You want to barely bring it together. Also don't forget the herbs and the onions, and bring it together gently, very gently. This is what your bread mixture should look like. It has completely come together into a smooth dough with absolutely no dry lumps. Once this is achieved, you can prepare your baking apparatus. So here I have a cake tin. It should be deep enough. This I have lined with some butter paper. If you don't have butter paper, you can simply oil the inside. After which, you want to scoop in your bread mixture. Remember, when you scoop it in, you want to stop at least half an inch below the brim, because this bread is going to go up by at least 1.5 times. Once that's done, you want to bake it at 180 degrees Celsius for 60 to 65 minutes. Look at that. Now that is perfectly baked. Now this is going to taste best when it's cooled off completely. But you also want to cool it off completely to achieve the task we initially set out to do, and that is to make some croutons. So once it's completely cooled off, you want to slice it, after which you want to cut cubes out of it. You could also tear them, and if you tear them, it's going to add more of a character, more of a texture. It's going to be nice and crunchy. Drizzle some oil on, just cup them. You want to bake these until they're completely brown. So what I've done is I've baked them at 200 degrees Celsius, and I baked them for about 18 to 20 minutes. And that gives us enough time to make our Caesar salad dressing. Now 18 minutes is honestly too much time. Into this you want to add mustard. Now they say you have to use Dijon mustard. Let me tell you, any yellow mustard works. You want that pungency, and what is going to work really well is some English mustard, and English mustard is more easily available in India. Next with 2, because I want it to be richer and creamier. Now what makes a Caesar and not just a mayonnaise are the anchovies. Anchovies are these small fish fillets. Now if you do have anchovies at your disposal, you can use 2 to 3 of them. But if you don't, you will need Worcestershire sauce. Some garlic and some fair bit of garlic, juice of 1 whole lemon, but trust me, you're going to need at least 1 more lemon. And into this you want to go in with some odorless vegetable oil. Now that has everything, and nice shot, chef. Now you would have observed that I haven't seasoned this, and that is because the next step is to fold in some parmesan, and parmesan is quite salty. So we will adjust the seasoning, that is salt and pepper, after folding in the parmesan. By the way, a serious recommendation, see to it that you use an odorless oil. If you use a strong flavored oil, especially olive oil, the Caesar dressing is going to taste only of olive oil. You want to avoid that. Now some of you might think that this is really thick. Let me tell you, it isn't. And that is because we're going to add the juice of at least 1 more lemon, if not 1.5, and that is going to thin this out. Next, you want to grate in at least 3 tablespoons of Parmesan cheese. If you're feeling liberal, go ahead, add more. Fold it, after which you want to taste it and adjust the seasoning. So go in with some salt, you won't need too much, and lots of pepper. Good Caesar always calls for a lot of pepper. You could use black, you could use white, you could also use red peppercorns. And red peppercorns have this amazing fruity spiciness to them. Now into this emulsion, I am going to add juice of at least 1 more lemon. This really needs it. At least 1 lemon, you might want to add more. And as you mix the lemon juice into the emulsion, you'll see it thin into this lovely potable consistency. By the way, our croutons are ready. Just look at them. Deep brown, super crunchy, super tasty. Let's get dressing that salad already. So I've got you some trivia of Caesar salad. So a Caesar salad was actually invented in Mexico by an Italian chef who had American citizenship. It's truly global. Now what makes a Caesar salad stand out? It is definitely the anchovies and the Parmesan cheese. Now the anchovies are in fact replaceable. I've replaced it with Worcestershire sauce. So Worcestershire sauce has anchovies in them. It adds that lovely fishy note which makes it so tasty. But what about the Parmesan cheese? Is the Parmesan cheese replaceable? Unfortunately, you can't replace Parmesan cheese with anything. You really want that salty sharpness of Parmesan cheese. If you want to make a very nice Caesar salad, you might have to fetch that block of Parmesan. Our Caesar salad is going to be so good. Now to make Caesar salad, you want lettuce, and ideally you'd use romaine lettuce, but if you don't have romaine lettuce, don't worry, you can use another kind of lettuce. Onto this, I'm going to make some shavings of Parmesan cheese. No, I wasn't done with this block of Parmesan earlier. Come on. Caesar salad is all about the Parmesan cheese. Now it is true, I could have grated it on, but shaved Parmesan cheese is so much more fun to eat. Of course, we're going to add our flavorful, fragrant croutons. Not only are these perfectly baked, but they also have so much freshness and so much flavor and that perfect kick that is going to make the Caesar salad amazing. Now, this is not traditional, but I'm also going to add a little bit of grilled chicken, and that is because I'm going to have this for dinner and I want my protein intake, shouldn't I? Finally, we want to add a beautiful, gorgeous, luscious Caesar salad dressing. You want to pour it on, and you want to pour it on in slow motion, always.